Voice of Students, powered by Onata, local part-time jobs.
Hello viewers, my name is Jyoti Wazirani. Welcome back to another edition Voice of Students, a talk show by the students from the universities across USA. Each week, the students voice their opinion about various topics from politics to social media, education to culture and many more. If you are a college student and want to be on this show, please register at www.onata.com/VOS. This week, we are going to cover the balance between personal and academic lives of students, as well as how they manage financially. With the increased cost of living, it's becoming more and more challenging for students to concentrate on the studies. Students feel more pressure than ever and earn and learn. Students are stressed more than ever to find a balance between work and study schedules, as hard as it sometimes may be. These students are managing and doing so very well. We'll hear more about how these resilient students manage on day-to-day basis with all they endure. And now to my co-host Bianca.
Good afternoon, I'm your co-host Bianca, and welcome back to Voice of Students, powered by Onata, local part-time jobs. We want to hear directly from you on how to manage work and study balance, so please start by introducing yourselves with your name, your university, and your major.
Hi, my name is Sarah Simon. I studied undergraduate at Rutgers University for 4 years. I graduated in May of 2018. I have been accepted into law school for September. In between, I took a gap year. I've landed an internship at the prosecutor's office for Woodbridge Township.
Hi, my name is Gavin. I'm a senior at Rutgers University studying journalism and media studies, graduating in May 2019.
Hi, my name is Tiana Bradford. I am a junior journalism and media studies major. I am from Edison, New Jersey, and I will be graduating in May 2020.
Thanks everyone. According to a study from Georgetown University Center on Education and Workforce, over the past 25 years, more than 70% of college students have worked while attending school. Do any of you have part-time or full-time jobs while attending college? And what are your specific reasons to work?
This is actually ironic. I actually work here, so that's funny. I intern here. But I also have another part-time job. I work in retail at Lucky Brand Jeans. So, and you also asked the reason why I work. I like expensive things. I like to pay for my own things. My parents do not want to pay for anything that I have now. I consider myself an adult, so I feel as though I'm responsible for, if I want it, I need to be able to pay for it. My parents already paid for me to go to school, so the least I can do is work to pay for things that are not necessities, they're wants.
So I'm actually not working right now, but I have worked several part-time jobs over the past few semesters while I was in college. All of them have been in different restaurants and food service. So the reasons I was working was similar. I also just needed kind of extra money to spend on myself. I felt like while I was fortunate enough to have my parents help support me with my college, so I wanted to be able to anything extra, be able to pay for that myself, as well as also save up some money for the future.
I worked multiple part-time jobs throughout college. At one point in my college career, I had 3 part-time jobs. It was very hard to balance between education and my outside work. I worked because I'm from a single-parent household, and I also didn't want to go in too much debt in order to support myself. So by working, it allowed me to have extra money to spend on myself as well as keep my debt down.
Great. So in what ways has this interfered with your personal lives or things outside of your education and your work?
I honestly have a mouthful. Okay, for starters, my personal life is absolutely non-existent. It's actually funny because you would think college students, it doesn't bother me as much because this is my personal life per se. I don't really talk about my personal life, but this is what I do every day. this is how I would choose to spend my time, because I know it would work out for me in the end in my future, working and gaining experience and interning and doing things like that. When it comes to school, it's time management. You have to know when you're at work, you're at work. You have to know you're at school, and you have to divide the two. I mean, you always, have your ways of making things work, but at the same time, it's the dedication of wanting to do both. So the time management skills you have to have in order to achieve both things, because you have to be successful in school, but then you have to be successful in work. I mean, you have to show up on time to both and come prepared for both. So with that being said, it's definitely time management and being organized and being definitely committed to both things.
How about you guys?
I'd say work has definitely interfered both with my personal social life and with school. So over the past few jobs I've worked, usually they do offer somewhat of flexibility in scheduling, where they allow you to choose how many hours you want to work per week and then say what days you want to work. But also I think that a lot of them made the schedule ahead of time, and then once that was made, there wasn't much flexibility with it. So I often found myself having to not attend social events, or even with school there were extracurriculars that I was not able to participate in, which I wanted to do, which would have benefited me, I think, in the long run. And because I had to go to work, I wasn't able to do those at that time. And I feel like that's also been a reason why I've had to leave different jobs, whereas when I wasn't getting the hours or the flexibility that I needed, I had to switch jobs. And it's also the reason why I'm not currently working while I look for internships.
Right.
What about you, Sarah?
Academically, I did poorly my freshman and sophomore year because I had poor time management skills, as you were saying earlier. So it was really hard for me to balance going to school as well as working. There were times where my boss would ask me to cover a shift at the same time I had class, and I would choose the quick money because I also worked in the food industry as a waitress. So to make that quick $100 as opposed to go to one class, I learned to lean more towards the long-term gratification instead of short-term gratification. By my senior year, I cut down on the amount of hours I worked. I only worked 1 day a week. I ended up getting Dean's List every semester, and spring of senior year getting a 3.97 GPA. I feel like socially I missed out on a ton. I always wanted to be a part of sorority or get involved in a club and be more involved in the Rutgers community, and it was really hard to do so with the amount of hours I was working at my job.
Okay, so do you think, since you have worked the jobs, are you doing that to support yourselves or gain experience, or is it just fun?
Supporting myself, I definitely have, I'm gracious enough to have both my parents in my life, so it's not necessarily me supporting myself. However, I don't want to have to rely on my parents. I don't ever want to have to feel like I'm not a single child. I have multiple siblings. I actually have 5. So it's not just all about me. So knowing that I have the opportunity, I have the ability to go out and make my own money and do that graciously, I would rather do that and know that I can make my own money and save it and apply it back without having to burden my siblings or my parents.
Are you working to support yourself, or is it for fun, or is it for experience?
Well, me personally, I would say that I don't work to support myself. I have both my parents in my life, which I'm very thankful for. However, I do work for the sense of that I'm capable of doing it. I have the ability to do it. I have 5 siblings, so I'm not the only person in my household who needs their parents, who need my parents specifically. So knowing that I can work and that I can benefit myself, I can, put gas in my car. If something happens to my car and I need an oil change or anything like that, I can do it myself efficiently. If I need books, I can easily save up and get books without having to ask my parents. If I want to go out and eat out or go out with my friends, I don't have to ask them for anything. So it's more of an independence. I want to be more independent and kind of start to steer away, because at some point I will be graduating from school and I will have to be by myself and live on my own.
That's great.
Yeah, I think it's really good that you have that sense of independence now, even though your parents do have the capability of helping you. And as for me, I definitely don't do it for fun, and I wouldn't say I do it for experience either, because I'm not in a professional job, but I have gained experience from the job. I feel like there are people who depend on me, since I am from a single parent household, I have used my meal swipes from school to bring home food for my sister. There are times where my mom has to borrow money from me, or she's short on cash, or she needs gas money. So I've never felt like I was not able to work as many hours as I was. Towards my senior year, I managed to live better and cut down on hours, save all of my money, work efficiently, and make time for what was important as well.
Yeah, I think that's definitely really great that you were able to kind of support yourself and also support your family even when when they had to rely on you. I guess for me, I feel like I was in a more fortunate position where my family was also able to support me with kind of my basic necessities, making sure they're met. So I know that like if I don't have money this week, I'm not going to starve at least. But at the same time, I also kind of worked too. I feel like I also did gain experience from my job in the sense that I learned how to multitask, manage stressful situations, time management. So also, even though I haven't worked yet, like an internship or professional job that's kind of related to what I want to do with my life in the future, I still feel like I have gained valuable life experience from it that I can't apply to my future.
Right.
Okay. So, whatever you are earning, is it going towards your accommodation or day-to-day expenses?
For me, it's depended on it's varied over time because like each year I've had a different living situation. My first couple of years I was commuting to school, so I didn't actually have any living expenses at that time, but my junior year I actually moved out and was living off campus, so at that point I was also paying rent. So when I had to do that, I feel like there was kind of a transition where before, when I kind of had all this extra money, I was like just kind of spending on things I didn't need. I felt like I was just like ordering stuff online, buying clothes, like just extra stuff basically that was a waste of money.
Okay.
And I feel like when I did kind of have to start paying my own rent and worrying about, how much money am I going to have left over after this? I'm going to be able to pay it. I feel like that taught me how to manage my money better, more efficiently, and like kind of focus on what's important. And if I do want something extra, be able to kind of like save up for that and not just like spend on money that I don't have on it.
So you feel you became more responsible.
Definitely.
Did you guys have similar experiences with it?
Definitely. When it comes down to day-to-day expenses, of course, like knowing the fact that I have money in my pocket, if I see food I want, oh my gosh, I'm driving past Chick-fil-A, I want it, I can have it.
Right.
You know, I'll go and I'll get it. Versus just how Gavin was saying, when it comes down to having to save for something important, like I said, if you need your car tuned up, if you need an oil change, if you need a battery, knowing that you have to save your money because you never know when moments like that happen. And sometimes it depends on like your type of living situation. Like for Sari, she said she lives in a single parent household. I too as well live in a single parent household. I do have both of my parents in my life, but they live separately. So when it comes down to certain things, one parent, maybe both parents, may not even be able to have that opportunity to provide for me in a certain way. So I need to be able to know, like, if something goes south with them, unfortunately, I have it, so it's okay. You know, they may not be able to pay for something at a certain time, and I know it's something that's a necessity to them. They might be short on something. I have it, so it's okay. It's fine. Knowing that you're able to take care of them in the end, I feel like that's more beneficial, to know that they've been taking care of you for 20 plus years of your life. The least you can do is be like, okay, here's $300. I mean, I know it probably wrecks me coming out of my pocket, but I know it'll be beneficial to you in the end.
Thank you so much for your views, and really appreciate what you are doing. You know how responsible you are. Let's take a short break now.
We'll be back soon.